Hello, and welcome to the channel. Do you routinely pour that distinctively smelling yellow liquid left at the bottom of the pot after your weekly cooking down the drain, thinking it's of no use anymore? Today, we are going to overturn that common sense. Simply by spraying the garlic broth you use to throw away in the kitchen every week onto your garden, you can create a volatile barrier that keeps aphids and mosquitoes away for good. This barrier doesn't wash away in the rain, lasts for a week, and outlasts commercially available sprays. You might find it hard to believe. However, farmers in the Showa era did this for 50 years without using any pesticides. Today, I will share all the reasons and secrets behind this. Do you know what happens in your garden when May arrives? Just as the seedlings are all out and the green shoots begin to grow vigorously, something else inevitably arrives. Yes, aphids. Small green or black specks start gathering at the base of young stems, multiplying every time you look. When you touch them, your hands get covered in green residue. Furthermore, mosquitoes bite you during your evening watering. The back of your neck, your ankles, the inside of your arms. Before you know it, you have 3 or 4 bites. Going out to the garden becomes a chore. You might think, this year I'll buy a proper insecticide. You pick up a 500 yen, 800 yen, or 200 yen spray at the home improvement store and use it. But the following week, the aphids return. Haven't you been repeating this cycle every year? After today's talk, you will be able to break free from this vicious cycle using something you already have in your kitchen. Around the late 1950s, there was a farmer named Fujio Yamamoto in the Nanyo region of Ehime Prefecture. While growing mandarin oranges on terraced fields, he created a small summer vegetable garden behind his house for his family. Tomatoes, eggplants, cucumbers, and green beans. There was something mysterious about his garden. While neighboring farmers struggled with aphids, Fujio's garden suffered extremely little damage. Moreover, for some reason, mosquitoes never came near him while he was watering. A neighboring farmer asked, "Fujio, are you doing something special?" He smiled and replied, "My wife uses garlic every day, so I just sprinkle the leftovers on the field." At first, no one believed him. They thought simply scattering kitchen scraps couldn't possibly be that effective. However, for 50 years, Fujio's garden made it through every summer without pesticides. Why wasn't this wonderful knowledge widely known? The answer is simple. It doesn't sell. No one can commercialize garlic broth. That's why neither agricultural cooperatives nor pesticide manufacturers shared this fact. Knowledge that should have been spread was quietly kept hidden, but today you will receive that knowledge. Thinking of Fujio Yamamoto, if you find this story helpful, please hit the like button. Not for the manufacturers, but for the farmers who silently continued this practice for 50 years. Now let's delve into the mechanism of why garlic broth is so effective. Garlic contains a compound called alliin. When chopped or heated, it reacts with an enzyme called alliinase and turns into allicin. Upon further heating, this allicin breaks down into multiple volatile sulfur compounds. Particularly important are diallyl disulfide and diallyl trisulfide, which are the true sources of garlic's distinctive odor. When these compounds are released into the air, they thoroughly disrupt insects' olfactory sensors. Insects perceive the world through smell, tracking specific scents to find plants and approach humans. The volatile sulfur compounds in garlic block these signals. Aphids lose track of where the plants are, and mosquitoes cannot sense where humans are. Instead of physically killing them, it destroys their navigation systems. This is the fundamental difference from chemical insecticides. Insecticides kill bugs, but the same cycle repeats when the next generation flies in. The garlic barrier creates an environment where bugs won't approach, eliminating the need to even kill them. Furthermore, there is another important difference. That is its resilience against rain. Commercial chemical sprays wash away when it rains, requiring reapplication if it rains the next day. However, the sulfur compounds in garlic are absorbed into the soil and then volatilized gradually. Once applied, the ingredients soaked into the soil continue to be released into the air over several days, so they are not washed away by a single rainfall. This is one of the reasons Fujio was able to continue this method for 50 years. The effect lasted even during the rainy season. What kind of bugs are visiting your garden right now? Are you troubled by aphids or mosquitoes? Next, I will explain in detail exactly how to make and use it. You can create the garlic broth barrier in two ways. Both use items found in your kitchen, so you can start today. The first method is to use leftover cooking liquid. You use the liquid left in the pot after boiling garlic, or add water to a frying pan after stir-frying. Bring it to a boil, let it cool, and use that liquid. This requires the least effort, and the materials naturally accumulate every time you cook. The second method is to make it specifically for this purpose. Boil 3 to 5 cloves of garlic in 500 milliliters of water for 10 minutes. Once cooled, dilute it 3 to 5 times with water before use. This method provides the most stable results. The application method is the same for both. Sprinkle the diluted liquid onto the soil at the base of the plants using a watering can or a spray bottle. It is crucial to apply it to the ground, not directly onto the leaves. The key is to let it be absorbed into the soil and volatilize gradually. Spraying it directly on the leaves can cause leaf burn from the sunlight. Apply once a week during sunny periods. Even during the rainy season with frequent showers, applying once every 10 days will maintain the effect. The basic application area is a 30 centimeters square around the base of the plant. There is no need to spray the entire garden. It is best to start in areas where bugs frequently visit, especially at the entrance to the garden. Did you cook with garlic this week? The next time you use it, please save the broth instead of throwing it away. That alone will allow you to start this weekend. Here I will mention one common mistake. It's the assumption that a higher concentration is more effective. Some people use a large amount of garlic and apply the concentrated broth undiluted. Some also apply it too close to the plants. This can be counterproductive. If the concentration of garlic sulfur compounds is too high, it can potentially damage the microbial layer of the plant's roots. Absolutely avoid using the undiluted solution, especially at the base of young seedlings. Be sure to dilute it 3 to 5 times. Also, avoid spraying it directly onto the leaves. The sulfur compounds on the leaf surface will heat up in the sunlight, causing leaf burn. It is important to apply it to the soil and let it volatilize slowly from the ground. The correct usage is diluted on the soil once a week. As long as you follow these 3 rules, you won't have any problems. 90% of people trying this for the first time tend to think, making it stronger will make it more effective. But just like with fertilizer and cooking, the appropriate amount is what matters most. Do you know how mosquitoes find humans? Carbon dioxide, body temperature, and specific odors in sweat. They sense these from several meters away. The sulfur compounds in garlic specifically interfere with the tracking of these odors among the signals. It's not about completely shutting them out, but rather adding noise to the signal. Mosquitoes get confused and lose track of where humans are. Realistically, spraying it once won't make mosquitoes disappear entirely. However, the frequency of getting bitten in the sprayed areas will noticeably decrease. Many people experience a change where, especially during evening watering, they used to get 3 bites in 10 minutes, but now they hardly get bitten at all. When Fujo said, "Thanks to my wife's garlic, garden work has become easier," he was likely referring to exactly this change. Working in the garden was no longer a chore, even without using pesticides. That must have been one of the motivations that kept him going for 50 years. How much does the discomfort of summer garden work bother you? Don't you think going out to the garden would be much more enjoyable if this discomfort were gone? Next, I will talk about combinations that work well with garlic broth. While it is effective on its own, combining it with 2 other things expands the types of bugs it can cover. The first is chili peppers. The capsaicin in chili peppers is effective against chewing pests, especially leaf beetles and crickets. By boiling garlic and chili peppers together to make a broth, you can target both sap-sucking pests, aphids and spider mites, and chewing pests, leaf beetles. The recipe is simple. Boil 3 cloves of garlic and 2 to 3 dried chili peppers in 500 milliliters of water for 10 minutes. Let it cool, then dilute it 5 times before use. Even if you increase the amount of chili peppers, the dilution ratio remains the same. The second is vinegar. By adding a small amount of vinegar to the broth, you can slightly adjust the acidity of the soil surface. Since aphids tend to prefer weak alkalinity, making the soil slightly acidic makes it even harder for them to approach. Adding about 1 tablespoon per 1 liter of water is sufficient. I'm not saying you must do these things. Please start with just the garlic broth first. Once you get used to it, A good approach is to try combinations tailored to the specific problems in your garden. I hope one thing comes across through this story. That is, the kitchen and the garden are connected. Things produced during the cooking process, things you used to throw away, and things you thought were unnecessary return to the garden with new value. Garlic broth is just one example. Broth made by boiling dried onion skins in water has a similar effect of keeping pests away, and used coffee grounds repel slugs and pill bugs. The reason farmers in the Showa era were able to go without pesticides wasn't simply out of frugality. It was because they intuitively understood the cycle between the kitchen and the garden, using something that has served its purpose for its next role. That mindset came naturally to them. When Fujio Yamamoto said, "I just sprinkle my wife's cooking leftovers on the field," it wasn't about saving money or being clever. It was just a normal habit in his household. You can create this same cycle in your kitchen starting today. Finally, here is a summary of today's talk. Garlic broth contains volatile sulfur compounds that disrupt insects' olfactory navigation. Aphids can no longer find plants, and mosquitoes have a harder time finding humans. When applied to the soil, it is absorbed and its effects last for a week to 10 days. To use it, simply dilute the water used to boil garlic 3 to 5 times and sprinkle it on the soil at the base of your plants. It's a 30-second task done once a week. It costs no money, the materials are available every time you cook, and no special tools are required. Now that you know this, what will you change starting today? Let me know in the comments what pest is causing you the most trouble in your garden this year and what region you are in. That will serve as a hint for my next topic. And finally, I want you to choose one. A. Continue buying insecticides this year. The effect washes away in the rain after a week. Buy them again. B. Start saving your garlic broth this week and try spraying it on your garden next weekend. The cost is zero. You have nothing to lose. Please write A or B in the comments, along with a brief reason. The reason isn't for me. Putting it into your own words makes it easier to change your habits. There is an invisible bridge between the kitchen and the garden. Starting today, you can use that bridge too. The roots, remember, go deep into them. If this story has changed how you view the weeds growing in your yard or the leftovers in your kitchen, please subscribe to the channel and leave a thumbs up. We're unearthing historical wisdom that someone tried to bury. Let's cultivate the future together. The next treasure chest will be open soon.